hyping up this eventual match between both of these players, or these teams, and really we weren't expecting this to happen until really Pro League. This was much more of an earlier match that we didn't really see coming, just because we didn't know who was going to qualify from what group and how the whole bracket would find out. But this is a little bit of a taster of what we might see in Pro League.
Yeah, I'm very excited that we get to see this lineup or this matchup, and especially now. There was a lot of things that had to line up for this to happen. G2 had to beat Liquid again, and so we see a target ban here.
That's a very nice ban there from G2. I know, just talking to Fabian and Feral about, I was asking, what kind of bans you thinking about the Ashe? And they were like, we don't know. Like, they didn't really know, and they thought, you know what, let's just go for it. This is going to cause issues for Empire, as they know. Joystick is literally a cyborg Ashe player. He is that good on it. We've seen him just tear through really anybody. I'm quite curious to see really what then attacker he's then going to have to switch on to. I know that I've seen an Ashe ban in the past. He then just went to Capo, which is another free speed, great gun as well. Starting things off on the attack, it will be G2 going with it. And wow, look at this comp setup. We have not just Montana, but Finka being brought into the broadside as well.
Yeah, I know G2 was talking a little bit about maybe bringing out a Finka Blitz or Finka Monty to try and deal with Empire, especially on the defense, because pushing these very aggressive players with the shield and the Finka combo, so you have this low recoil, faster movement speed, it really helps to gain some ground against them.
Yeah, there's also no C4s on the side of Empire as well, so that could be something that G2 could certainly take advantage of. Looking at Empire, they are going to go for more of a very standard setup. Mira being banned, really no surprise. I know that during the mock at M&M game, Mira was actually let free inside the ban phase, and really teams didn't actually use it, even though she was available.
Yeah, you mentioned no C4 on the table here. There is, though, we have Legion and Echo, which is some very, very strong counters to shield, especially if you save your Legion mines a bit until you know where the shield's coming from. And we have seen before shields being hunted by an Echo Drone, and it's terrifying, because as Monty, when you're fully extended and you get Echo Drone, that drops. Follow that up with one or two Empire players running after, and the shield is null and void instantly.
So where will the attack come in from G2? They seem to be taking it just a little bit slower, getting the drones in. They know that Joystick is always going to be that guy they have to find and have to kill, because if you leave Joystick unattended, he will just 4K your team. We've seen him do that so many times. Karzek as well is going to try and support Joystick. Both these players have been the big standouts for Empire time and time again, and certainly an operator like Vigil, which will help to counter that drone play that G2 want to play, then yeah, that's going to work out pretty good already. I think it boost being used maybe to try and get them in. They were expecting an engagement, but no. Empire holding strong. They're not really concerned about holding that mid floor. They want to try and roam towards that statuary room and the master bedroom to try and deny access from there. But certainly G2 taking it much slower pace. They know they have the Montana really just as a big, massive human drone.
And we see the Empire here having a really spread out map control. Junis gets the first pick on Joystick though.
I have you covered. Stay close.
Massive kill. Of course, that's Jaeger gone. Empire really revolve around that main man Joystick, and look at Pengu just seeing if he can push right on up. He sees the smoke, has to kind of back away, and even an Echo Drone burst does miss, so they know there's going to be an Echo Drone around the 90 area. Still a minute 20 to go, but the only thing about G2 is that they don't have Thermite. They're only limited to one area that they can actually push in through a reinforced wall.
The important thing we saw here with Thermite was that if that Echo Drone didn't miss, Pengu would have been instantly dead on Monty, right?
It should have been. That would have been the drop, and then a quick shotgun burst could have easily taken him down. Cypher still alive. Of course, those Echo Drones can be very vital in the right hands, like we've seen from Pentasports yesterday against Chaos. The Echo plays were very, very big. Fabian still trying to see if he can find any angles he can. Has a few X-Kairos pellets as well if he wants to try and open up something else. And here comes the quick push in, but Shock, he will be there. Even gets a Gooman kill for himself, but everybody else from his team has fallen. The plant will try and go in. Shockwave, he sees the plant and misses enough shots, and this should be the quick and easy refrag from Fabian. And that will be the case in G2. They take the first round inside of the series.
Although this is first round, it's very hard to tell if Joystick getting picked off early, if that was what really slowed them down, but the whole Empire team seemed to be playing way more conservative and just stayed in their place for much longer than we normally see. There wasn't as much aggression as we're used to, and with the Echo Drone miss there, I would expect them to try and go hunt and go for that kill on Monty, not allow Pengo to walk in and you know, force them out of position.
So it seems to be both of the teams want to keep the exact same operators. There's no real big change unless we see the 6 pick. Nope, nothing comes off that. So it will pretty much just play it the exact same way. I'm sure G2 will take it slow, try and clear the mid floor. Potentially, if they want to try and get Yunus in there as the buck, we know the vertical play is very strong, but if we look at yesterday, which was Mockup versus Eminem, another match on Villa, Doki, he went below, used the skeleton key to try and open up angles, but he didn't play them, he just opened them up. It was very simple then for the players of Mockup to rotate back, and they know nobody's below because they're not using that ability very utility-wise. I'm sure G2 will sit there, they'll hold the angles, they'll try and kind of wait for Empire to peek, which we know they're very aggressive, but they didn't show that. Will they do it this time?
I mean, often if you see this buck play where you open stuff up and leave, then you'd honestly often be better off playing Jackal instead. You'd open it up, you'd scan someone, and you still have the smokes for an execute later on. Buck, sure, he's faster, but unless you're benefiting some sort of getting a kill, it doesn't matter putting people out of their position if you leave the base control afterwards. I do want to see IQ here, Goga on IQ, try and see if he can catch that Echo Drone before they try and push with Monty. Because that was more luck than anything that Pengu didn't take a room temperature challenge there.
Yeah, IQ has been a very big, important operator for the most part. In terms of the G2 lineup, they want to try and eliminate as many gadgets as they can. They want to get rid of Echo Drones. Goga's very good at doing that, can give a lot of callouts as well. We know he's one of those main talkers, the support player, the main droner. Really just anything he wants to do, he can do that. And once again, First Blood goes in the way of G2, and this time Fabian getting things started. And it's actually going to be Shockwave dying very early on. Legion must have been just an aggressive peak.
Yeah, I mean, losing Legion early on, especially, again, as we mentioned, with the shield, and just the fact that Legion gets so much stronger the longer the game goes on. These 10-second, it almost takes you 10 seconds from when you get, stung to you get back to cover, pull out the goo mine, and then go for a plant. We've seen so many rounds won because people have to deal with that.
Still, the room game will be implemented by Empire. They have Joystick below, and also Karzek is supporting this roaming duo that we see so many times, but they really haven't done anything at the moment. I'm sure that they probably will try and get in there during the late game, but knowing G2, they will hold the angles, they'll hold the rotations, they have a great coaching behind them. They have Shas and also Feral, and they, I'm sure, have studied Empire. They know that they prefer to go for the late rotates, and more than likely G2 will be there to counter.
And you can see G2 here, they're just waiting for mistakes to happen. They're waiting for the roam team to go around. Beautiful nade from Jonas picking off the down guy and Joystick there. But they're allowing, and go quick kill on sight. But they're allowing the mistakes from Empire to happen. Empire is walking around here confused, trying to find a pick, but G2's just ready for it.
I would like to see just more aggression from the roamers. They're staying all the way at the bottom, and once again trying to rotate up, and the flanks will be held. A 1 versus 5, make that a 1 versus 4, and it's pretty much played out the exact same way it did last time. Empire have completely crumbled against this very strange strategy from G2, and once again, second round goes to G2.
I mean, we haven't seen Empire play against a team of the caliber of G2 yet, but this is not the play style. This is not what we expected from Empire. Whether it comes down to just failing the roam, getting outplayed by G2 on the gunfights, or if it is G2 reading them and just setting up a waiting game for Empire to mess up.
We have seen teams struggle against Montagna. Just there's teams that can really cope with a shield. They know how to play it well, execute, and have crossfires and have utility thrown at the same time. Then there's teams that just struggle. They don't know how to play against shields. Chaos, for example, didn't have a clue how to counter a Class Montagna combo. This may be where Empire falls into that same bracket. They don't know how to approach a thing which you cannot kill unless you have the right utility. And they're bringing that utility. That's the worst part about that. They know the comp setup that they need to bring, but they're not working together to eliminate that massive shield.
Yeah, it would have made more sense if they were struggling in terms of, lacking the operators to counter it, but they literally have the exact tools to beat a Monty here. I mean, Pengo, of course, a great Montaigne player, a great shield player. We've seen him do that years back still. So they need to put some more effort into pulling out Pengu quickly, and then maybe that opens up a bit of the roam game.
I could potentially see a quick spawn kill coming from Empire. It certainly plays into that Joystick mentality where he wants to just be as crazy as he can, try and get those early picks. And if he manages to land a big one, for example, onto Fabian, that's the Hibana gone, that makes things a lot tougher from G2. And they're only just sticking with Hibana. They're not taking Thermite, which some teams, they like to bring both hard breach because Villa does have quite a few destructible walls that you would want to try and open up for your team. Roam game as well, once again by Empire, this time towards that Aviator and Games room. And once again, exact same combo, Karzeka and Joystick over there. They haven't done anything yet. Joystick hasn't even gotten a kill, which is quite surprising. 2 rounds in, still nothing. And exactly the same way, it's going to be G2 putting all the pressure. They have the shield, they have the Finka boost, and they could just simply walk on in. They have the drones capability. Yeah, Empire, they're going to get slaughtered here very, very shortly.
Yeah, I don't think they're bringing the Hibana to cancel with that. I mean, no contest kill on Joystick there. He didn't stand a chance with that Monty.
Oh, Kanto, nice flick, and even a kill for the shield. Pengu with the pistol, a 5 versus 2, and that's only a minute gone, Alex.
Yeah, you can see Goga being a little bit sneaky here. He's holding an angle just on top of a Claymore. If he dies there, it's actually really difficult to spot that Claymore. So that's a double roam stopper. I do think they're bringing the Hibana more to open up lines of sight, to limit the movement again, because using the reinforcements here, one of the things you can do when you use a Monty is that you can use the defender's reinforcements against them.
Cypher trying to attack the Montagna, sees one and manages to pick up the down. That will be on to Finken. Kanto, you know, he could have used that if one of his teammates got downed. And also Goga, he manages to get the refrag, and this should be a simple revive on the Kanto Raketti, all down the Shepherd, and another very detrimental round going in favor of G2. Nice shot on the Montagna, but too many angles for him to try and hold, and G2 just running away. I'm pretty sure there's only been 3 kills on the side of Empire, if I'm not correct. See the scoreboard? I'm pretty sure it was only 3 kills.
I mean, every round played out more or less the same. They end up with 4 or 5 on the attacking team. Empire has 1 left every time, right? It doesn't seem like Empire even has a chance to make a real dent. Yeah, 3 kills coming out from Empire here. And Joystick not showing up, he's being countered completely. We saw the Monty finger push on him here. That's not something that, you know, if you're a very aggressive roam player, there isn't much you can do up against that. You need a team with you. Put the Echo Drone, make him mobile, drive around, try and find out where they're coming in from. Sure, you might lose your Echo Drone quickly, you have a second, but you need something to help out your roamers on that shield push. Maybe this is just a playstyle clash where, you know, Empire is getting a reality check. What they're doing does not work against the top tier teams, or maybe they just don't know how to deal with this shield.
So in my understanding, that G2, they know that Empire never change their operators. They usually stick with the exact same 5. They have the same core, and it's being countered to a T. That's another thing that maybe some of the newer teams, especially looking at around that T2 level, even, you know, tier 3, teams don't like to flex and adapt. G2, they can flex and adapt on anything. We know they essentially have 5 flex players. Kanto, whenever he did join the team, was never originally just a flex player. He was always the Ash Jaeger person who was always racking up kills, just like he did with his time at Ints. But now they have molded him into a flex player as well. That's just the advantage that G2 has over almost any team. They can have a lineup that counters every single playstyle in the game. And that's why they're winning so many times, and it's so hard for teams to beat them.
I mean, go far enough back, and almost every single player in G2 used to be, you know, what we call an Ash main, an entry frag, and they've all been, you know, conditioned into being these super support players that can play every spot. Fabian getting Shockwave again here, instantly Lesion out of the game. He has to stay alive longer. He's one of the counters to this Monty.
Bomb located by attackers.
Still, that roam game is going to try and be implemented, but just like that, taken out Karzeka by Jonas once again, a 5 versus 3. This is literally as if we are just going back in time and watching the same round over and over and over again. This is essentially Groundhog Day for Empire.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for them, and I don't think they're going to show much more on attack either. Like, even if Ash was open here, the way that G2 has been countering them so far, I think they got their playstyle locked down. Their Empire has to drastically change the way they think about the game, or they don't seem to stand a chance. One thing you have to remember as well is that with the finger boost on the Monty, you can't even spray his legs down.
Yeah, and let's not forget as well, this is Villa. It is a defensive-sided map. And Empire are not winning their defense. That screams mayhem for them whenever they have to then go ahead and go onto the attack. 5 versus 2, another death for Empire without getting the refrags of the kills. Empire have always known to be that team that is there getting the refrags. If someone dies, then Joystick comes out of nowhere with a 2K. But that's not the case today. G2 have everything the Empire are trying to perform nailed in a coffin. Cypher does get 1 kill for his troubles, but still breathing down at his neck will be the Montana and the rest of the players from G2 as they start to storm the bomb site. All down to the lonely smoke player, and Pengu just walks in and pistols him to the head, and a 4-0 lead for G2.
We see them do the exact same every round. They try and get some of these picks on the Romas, they open up a few windows, cover a few lines of sight. Empire, you know, they go for the peek or they go for a rotate, get picked off easily and quickly. Lesion almost every round being the first to die. It's just not good enough if you're fighting against a setup like this. Then constantly we have Kanto and Pengu pushing the long hallway up towards 90. There's no echo contest. We do see a Lesion one, you know, every now and again on Pengu, but that's one that's left in the prep phase because Lesion's already dead. And then that forces all of Empire to focus about this Monty push from Pengu. You're not killing these 220 HP players.
So G2 sticking with the same lineup this time. Empire, they have shook things up. Still going for, once again, that Aviator Games Room bomb site, which has not worked 3 times in a row. This has just been devastating for them. They have decided to bring a Doc and an Alibi as well. What's your thoughts on that, Alex?
Honestly, I would say that it's a massive downgrade in your operator lineup. You're getting destroyed by a Monty. I would bring more stuff to deal with Monty, not less. And sure, Doc, great weapon. It's amazing for, you know, super aggressive peaks, long lines of sight. The gun is arguably a little bit easier and a little bit more damaging than Echoes. Alibi, I don't think G2 is going to struggle too much with the prisms. But again, great gun, and it's often a comfort pick in terms of fragmentation. Do have the impact nades.
This is where we go back to that thing that we talked about. If Joystick isn't fragging and getting kills and he dies early on, the rest of Empire crumble. That's as blatant as we can put that.
If I was Empire here, I would probably try and pull in maybe a pulse in the basement to try and figure out the push from G2. I mean, they've been doing the same over and over again, but at least that allows you to get up, get a C4 below the Monty.
Yeah.
That's a very easy kill instead of trying to C4 him head on. Castle would be another great addition here, seeing as, sure, they have 2 sets of nades, but you don't really want to use them on Castle barricades. Hibana could be taking them out, but that's, you know, if you use a grenade on it, then the Castle barricade is worth it. It's not an Ash charge, it's not a sledge. Hibana charges, that takes a while.
Finally, the first blood goes in favor of Empire this time, but really for how long? Shockwave will start to get pushed in by the Montana and has been forced all the way down to almost the bottom floor. Still a couple more roamers, and even Cypher playing a very aggressive Legion. Last time it was Shockwave on that operator. Can he do anything different with that T5 SMG? Goga, like we've talked about with the Prismas, that shouldn't be an issue for G2. They have Goga there, can spot out the fake ones and get a lot of that utility being used by the IQ scanner. Still 1 minute 40 to go. G2 proving pretty strong, and I still want to come back to that, the pulse thing that you talked about. I thought that would have been very strong because at this stage, Empire should know that G2 kind of push together. Usually see somebody right behind the Montana, and a quick double from Pengu. Tries to eliminate 2 players of Empire, but everybody else from G2 have fallen, and this will finally be the last potential player left for G2. This will be quite a clutch if he manages to do that, but has taken quite a lot of damage in those quick gunfires and has to go through goo mines that could still be lurking around. And finally, Empire, whoa, Pengu with the pistol. Nice shot, but still has to go through those goo mines, the barbed wire, and still 2 more players in Impact Need. Catches a wild Pengu in his natural habitat. And finally, Empire, they get a point on the board.
So what really seemed to be working here was these hit and run strategies where they're roaming very heavily and they don't only take 1 engagement. We saw Shockwave run downstairs right after killing Fabian, not lingering too long on trying to do anything against Pengu. That's a great way to try and deal with their push when they're, you know, walking very close together and trying to do these hallway clears, because it leaves a little bit more to G2, you know, cover their flanks and everything. They aren't pushing people that are stuck up on site. I still am not a fan of the operator pickup or the operator lineup from Empire. If it works for him, I mean, great. But I do wish that we saw a little bit more strategy in that lineup.
So Trophy Room and Statuary Room will be the chosen bomb site for Empire. They have finally locked out that Aviator and Games Room, and this will be their final defense before then they have to go onto the attack. And this is a round which they dearly need. They need to get themselves back over the wall and at least confront G2. And we know that Empire, they could be very deadly on the attack, but they don't have the Ash, as that was target banned by G2. Joystick will have to try and flex onto another operator. What that will be, we don't know. It could really be more than likely any free speed. My bets is kind of that capo rule, or maybe IQ if he wants to play that with a 5-5-2.
Yeah, could very easily see that. I think another thing Empire could do here was try and play some of the bottom bomb sites instead. They are a little bit easier to deal with late game if you do have shields pushing in on site, because you can do some top-down vertical play. If you're lagging, you know, the C4s, there isn't really a lot of vertical play you can do doing top floor setup.
There's the spawn kill I was kind of predicting, but no, Shockwave doesn't get anything from that. I think G2 just lucky there, skin of their teeth kind of pull away. Certainly if he did manage to nail the kill onto Montagna, or possibly that Habana that we've talked about, that causes a lot of issues. And yeah, I know that point you brung up was that G2, they're not really playing to open up these massive holes and try and force their way into the bomb site. They're playing for the angles. They're trying to use the doorways a lot more. They have Montagna who can stand in those doorways and give out all of the calls and just walk his way into the bomb site with ease. And then you get the planter behind him. Everything comes into conjunction.
See, Empire are ready for the Monty push here from Bedroom, though. They have opened up above. Cancer getting another frag and Shockwave. He seems to be one of the first guys to go down every single time. Sure, he is the roamer.
Oh, Kanto onto Joystick. Well, Empire, you may have Joystick. G2, they have a Kanto or Caddy. Montagna trying to push his way in towards the globe. He sees one player, a Legion there, and certainly Goga, he gets the call out. Freest kill of G2's life. Fabian, a kill for himself. Also a 1 versus 5 once again, and that will be a flawless round from G2 with ease.
There's a lot to learn from watching Pingo play Monty. Basically what he's doing is he's standing looking at them until they start doubting if, you know, he's worth the energy. And eventually you have someone else peek. You can't let the Monty stand there, because if you try and run away, he's going to drop his shield. But he's never ever going to try and drop his shield mid-round, or, well, sorry, when you're looking at him.
So moving into the halftime switch, we're going to have now G2 on their defense, and on the attack it will be Empire, and Joystick taking up the Jackal, so not even going to be a free speed, it's going to be a 2-speed operator, and still C7E, an excellent gun, essentially no recoil, hits pretty hard. But will do you really think that Joystick is that kind of player to use that utility that Jackal does provide?
I mean, we've seen him change up his playstyle a little bit on land. He started droning a little bit for himself, which I think might be a mistake. But I think it's more of a gun choice for him than anything. We do see, though, G2's picking up this pulse, and if they do what I expect them to do, which is be very active in the basement, come up the stairs and try and go for C4s here, they are playing the top floor, you know, allowing for the C4 from the main floor. It's going to be a lot harder for Empire unless they catch out this pulse. They have IQ and they have Jackal, but are they going to want to hunt him downstairs? Because it's such a cluttery space to try and pick off a Roman.
I'm quite glad that Empire have chosen to pick up that IQ, an operator which really didn't fit into their main 5. It was kind of a backlash. They more ran the very common, you know, Sledge, Ash, Thermite, Habana Thatcher, a very common strategy that, you know, that's kind of your 5 most basic operators you could choose for an attack, but I'm glad they're bringing someone with a little bit more utility. It'll help, of course, with that pulse, and more importantly, those Echo drones and Goga. I watched him last night against Liquid. He was on fire with those Echo drones, and if he's going to be anything like he was last night today, boy, Empire are going to have problems.
Yeah, there's something really scary about it, especially Goga and Kanto often playing these super support roles now and being the main fraggers of the teams that they came from before they joined G2. They have such raw fracking potential, and they're playing such far back spots. You always need to put 1 or 2, maybe even 3 player plus a little bit of utility to squeeze them out of that spot. And it's almost never a favorable trade.
But then again, you have players there like, you know, Kanto who can possibly be the last man alive. We know that he can clutch, but really, we've seen everybody from G2 have a clutch moment. They can do that so well. Pengu somehow manages to pull away with that kill. Korzeka tries to slide his way in, and that's the lack of droning that we've talked about. However, a refrag comes in, but then one gets straight up right back out. Kanto playing aggressive inside of the vault. Joystick did finally get himself a kill, but straight away off the board, and half the round gone. Empire, they have lost their 2 main fraggers, and if the trend fits with Empire, this is where they struggle.
And worth mentioning here, that was a roaming smoke we saw. They're just trying to, you know, break up Empire a little bit, make it a favorable amount of, or, you know, get the number advantage, sorry, on their side. It really hurts Empire when they lose, especially Joystick and Korzeka for their executes. They seem to fall apart when they don't have that. And there isn't anyone to truly contest any of the G2 players when Joystick and Korzeka is missing.
And they still have left Eunice unattended. He can not only try and get a Nitrocell kill, but the sheer power and information that the cardiac scanner gives will see G2 throughout this round. And I'm sure that Goga, he still has one more Echo Drone. I know that the one that was stationed inside of the study, it was eliminated by the IQ very early on. And even Kanto, he somehow rotated from Vault all the way back to bomb site. I'm surprised that the players of Empire let him get away with that. And this is where the power of the cardiac scanner comes in. Can see everybody who's going to be lurking around that master. And only at 20 seconds ago, the wall is going to be attempted to be opened up. But then we're going to see the bandit trick come in from Fabian, and that completely shuts down the entire Empire attack. 15 seconds ago, they've only just gotten inside off the bedroom, and they will be gunned down as soon as they do that. Fabian with the quick aggressive peek. Goga swings on in as an echo from behind. And look where Shepard is nowhere to be found. He tried to hunt the pulse with only 3 seconds to go. Easy kill for G2. And well, they take this to match point. Empire are falling apart.
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising to see how much Empire is struggling. We're seeing a roaming smoke to split up the Empire push a bit. They have a pulse running downstairs getting information. They are running a bulletproof cam on dock, and they have echo drones. G2 has so much information about where people are coming, and you might be sitting there thinking that, well, they're scanning with pulse and they're not seeing anything exactly. That means they're coming from somewhere else, right? There's only really three viable routes in. So if he can scan 2 of them, then it's very easy to set up their defense there. And Fabian coming in with a bandit trick like, what, 25 seconds in? That just shows that, you know, they're so calm and collected compared to Empire struggling a bit here.
So Ivir in games room is where the players of G2 will go to hopefully finish out the first map. And then if we say goodbye to Villain, G2 takes the map, then we will move on to Consulate, which certainly heavily favors G2 in that scenario. Empire, sure, they're strong, but G2, like you've brought up before, they've always been strong on Consulate. They've always been practicing that regularly. We've seen teams not even want to take them to that map. We've seen that being banned out quite regularly. And really, Consulate has been a map which has seen so much more of an uprise in these kind of past 3 months.
Just from looking at this one, I thought we were going to see maybe Empire really challenge G2 in terms of the, you know, the head-to-head fights, just on sheer gun power and gun skill, that Empire could really challenge G2. We aren't really seeing that. G2 is winning a lot of their gunfights, and on top of that, strategically, they're playing a whole nother league. So coming into Consulate, again, a map that G2 has so much experience on. We have seen Empire play great on it before. I don't have a lot of faith in Empire.
No, just on the sheer prediction of how they are playing at the moment, they will get whitewashed on Consulate as well. And if they struggle on defense on Consulate, that's a big worry, because Consulate really gives the defenders an advantage, because you can pick any bomb site you want to go for. Kanto Rike, aggressive inside towards that statuary room. He will just get droned out there and still holding the angles. Of course, Kanto has been on fire this match, killing everybody who tries to peek. Korzeka will be up to try and eliminate the roaming dog, but just backs away. For the meantime, once again, like you talked about, that roaming smoke, which certainly is a bit of an off play, but it's kind of working for them. Kanto, he will lose his life against the Elliot from Korzeka. He pushes on in, and that will be a good opening kill for Empire, but can they keep the ball moving?
We have to mention that G2 can afford to play this style where they aren't backing each other up, because their win percent in you know 2vx's are so very, very good. Goga and Pengu.
Oh!
Great 3-4 from Fabian there.
What a lob from Fabian, the bandit C4, and, well, that would Shockwave being none the wiser. And Cypher, he's actually quite lucky to even get away with his life as well. It could have been an immense C4. So that has certainly squared things off into G2's favor, simply because that's the hard breach gone.
Yeah, I mean, as I was mentioning, they can take a little bit more chances on the G2 side because Pikachunas, for example, or Fabian Goga have such a good win rate in these 2v4, 2v3 scenarios. So just doing a bit of damage. Fabian doing a lot of damage there.
Yeah, Empire just walking to their deaths. The coordination from Fabian and Pengu. However, Cypher, he will refrag, but on extremely low health. This will be an easy toxic BF being tossed, I'm sure, by Pengu, because it's getting to that stage where, yeah, you can start expending those smokes, try and slow down Empire's play. You can then get everybody else rotated. You can even see that Eunice has came back upstairs to support the team. Fabian, another kill for him. Down to Cypher, below 25 HP as well. And, well, Alex, this seems to be the end for Empire and Villa. No real hope for Cypher unless he can pull off some immense kills with the 5-5-2, but you can see the patience from G2 being shown. They know they have all the control. Cypher is the one who is panicking. He's the one who has to try and aggress. And 15 seconds ago, easy shotgun blast, and G2 with ease take control of Villa, and Empire